So we were like, all right, this is nuts. Like, we've had so many haunted things happen in this house. Like, we've got to call Ghostbusters or something. And it was really freaking us out that our daughter was saying she was playing with a little ghost. And, we just wanted to know what kind of entities we are dealing with, right? One day, the toaster oven, we were talking, and I had my back to the toaster oven, but it went down behind my back, like the toaster oven door went down, and then whatever I was talking about, my husband was like, the toaster oven door, did you see that? The toaster oven door just went down. It just went down behind your back slowly. And I was like, oh, that's weird. He's like, no, but the thing is, it's spring loaded. So, like, you have to have tension to pull it down. It couldn't fall. It's not like, oh, it didn't latch, it fell. No, it was like somebody put pressure on a spring. Like, there had to have been tension on the spring for the toaster oven door to go down. And we were like, okay, we gotta call the Ghostbusters here. So there was a paranormal research group called Canada's Most Haunted, or some. Oh no, one of the ladies from Canada's Most Haunted did her own paranormal research, I guess, fishing for these ghost stories, probably for the show. So call up, and she comes to the house with psychic detective equipment, like dishes to pick up sound, EMF readers, like those shows, like the Ghostbuster shows. And they put garbage bags over the window, taped off the windows with blankets so that there was no light coming in from the streets, and took ultraviolet video of ghosts in my house. So I was sitting in a rocking chair rocking my baby, and there were the ghosts around me and like coming up to the camera. They went up and they like investigated the camera and came all, like these little, they picked up ghosts, and they said that they picked up sound in the basement, voices and things. And they asked if I wanted to hear it, but I was too scared. And then they wanted to make a show about it, but I was too scared. And I said, no, I want to get rid of these ghosts. I want to have an exorcism. And they were like, no, don't. That's, it's not your place to, try to get rid of them. They could have been here for hundreds of years. This could have been their home. This could have, they were like ghost compassionate, these guys. And I was like, I want them out. Because I had a baby and I wasn't sleeping. I was tired. I'm like, I want an exorcism. So we ended up finding these people that came by. They didn't charge any money for it. They did this out of compassion and interest. I guess it was in another paranormal research interest group. Came over with like crosses and a cinnamon stick broom, and it was a couple of guys and a psychic lady, and they came in and smudged and chanted and did all of this stuff and called the ghosts up to see like what they were, what they wanted, and what was going on in the house. So they said there's a little boy who wants you to be its mother, and this is the little boy that your daughter was playing with, the ghost she was playing with. And I said, I can't have another baby right now. I'm exhausted. I'm haunted. I'm not sleeping. My baby's up all night. I'm not ready. It's only been 1 year. I don't feel like having another baby yet. I just can't. And they said, this baby says you're going to be its mother and you don't have a choice because it's God's plan. And I was like, don't you think that's a little bit forward? Don't you think you're overstepping just a little bit by saying I have to have a baby right now? I don't have a choice. And I said, I have an IUD in. I have really good birth control. There's 99.9% 98% chance that I'm not going to have a baby right now. Sorry. You can tell the little ghost to leave. Tell it, just use your little cinnamon stick broom and say, find another mummy down the street. And she said, the ghosts are laughing at you. And I said, oh, they said they're laughing at you because birth control, when God decides something's going to happen, birth control can't stop it. And I was like, this is weird. Anyways, then like stuff started to like rattle and shake and the wind picked up and it got really scary. And they said, there's a demon in the basement. And I was like, oh my God. And she said, there's a demon in the basement. You got to get out of here right now. Leave. And she was like, and there's also a soldier down there. And there's a soldier with guns all around him. And he says he won't stand down. And he's fighting this demon in your basement. You've got to get out of here. Go. We'll leave it to us. And so we left these strangers in our house. They could have been a scheme to rob us or something, but we were legitimately scared. So we were like, okay, so we left. They said we were like, are you guys gonna be okay? And they said, yeah, they have experienced demons before, that she had this happen before, and they would work on it and be in touch with us. So we went back to my mom's house or something. Well, these exorcists cleared a demon out of my basement. But the weird part was that several weeks later I started to feel like I was pregnant. And before that, before I noticed I was pregnant, I was rocking Ava in a high chair, and a golden light came down over me, and something told me to just be quiet, just be still, everything's okay. So I was like, okay, I'll just be still. Some kind of weird meditation I'm having or something. And I saw in my mind, I saw a blue hand stick its hand inside my stomach, and I felt something move inside my stomach. And then it receded and the golden light went away. And I called my husband and said, I just had the weirdest thing. It was like I was overcome by light, by this golden light, like I was like enveloped in light. And I saw in my mind this blue hand do something to my stomach. And I didn't even piece it together. This was weeks after the haunted thing. I didn't even think about that. Like, I thought, I'm not going to get pregnant. That lady was just nuts. Like, I thought, well, she's, whatever lady. And so I just called Brad and I was like, oh, this weird thing happened. And he said, well, I guess we've been haunted before, so I'll believe anything now. Who knows what it was? And again, I wondered, like, if it was because it was a blue hand. I was like, maybe this isn't ghosts. Maybe this is aliens. Like alien ghosts. So I thought, well, I had some kind of like, you hear about alien abductees saying they had aliens did surgery on me, and I wasn't sucked up into a spaceship or anything like that, but something put its hand inside my stomach. So then weeks later I started to feel pregnant, and I went to the doctor and said, what are the chances? He said, well, slim to none. Your IUD, he checked my IUD, was in place. And he said sometimes they can get dislodged up in the uterus, and they have witnessed, babies being born like with the IUD in their hand. You know what I mean? Like the IUD goes up in the uterus with the baby, and that's happened before, but mine was in place, so I shouldn't be pregnant. I should be fine. Anyways, so I did my own test, and I was pregnant. So I went for an ultrasound, and they saw the baby behind my IUD, and they said now we have to take the IUD out, and you might lose the baby because we're gonna pull it out, and it might pull the baby with it. So sorry that this happened. Don't know how it happened. Chances were so slim, but anyways. But they pulled it out, and the baby hung on. So this baby clung to the side, wanted to be born. And then they gave me a due date, and from the ultrasound, the date of conception was the day that the blue hand did something. So I think that blue hand moved my IUD aside, just so a baby could be conceived. And yes, we did it in the morning before that. So we did it in the morning. Brad went to work. I got the baby up, was rocking the baby in the chair, and we had a flood that morning, and my feet were in water. All of our stuff was ruined. Brad had to run to work. He's like, I'll be home at lunchtime to help you. And I was sitting there like everything was getting destroyed, and I had to like settle down the baby so that I could deal with the flood. And so yeah, I was in the rocking chair with my feet up to my ankles in water, and this hand moved my IUD aside to make sure that my baby was born. And the date that it happened, like the date of I remember it because I remember the date of the flood. And then so I called him and said the hand did that on the same day as the flood. So I knew it was that day, and that was the date of conception. And so then I thought, why would aliens want my baby to be born? Like, she must be some kind of special baby or something. And then I thought, oh my God, it's the ghost from the house. The little boy ghost that said, you're going to be my mommy and you don't have, it's God's plan. So was it God that put his hand inside my head to make sure that this baby was born? Or was it aliens? Or was it ghosts? Like, I don't even know. There's a second part to the story. And the psychic had said, the baby says, I'm going to be born in December and you don't have a choice. And Olivia was born December 23rd. So she was born when she said she was going to be born as well. So the psychic was right. Anyways, when she was born, so my baby that was up all night, I was tired and saying to the psychics that I couldn't deal with it because I was so tired, because my one baby was sick, and we were going to all these appointments with different doctors and specialists trying to figure out what was wrong with her. And nobody could figure it out. But her hair was falling out. She had rashes. She was always crying. She was underweight. Like failure to thrive was all they could come up with. And we were still undergoing tests. So then this baby was born when she said she was going to be born. Except it wasn't a boy, it was a girl. So we were kind of surprised. We're like, we thought it was a boy ghost. Now it's a girl. Okay. So we have this baby girl, and then the hospital called us and said, we're sorry, this baby has a disease. We found it in the baby heel prick test. It's a brand new disease that has just been discovered this year, and we'd like you to come to the hospital so we can tell you all about it. And I said, is she going to be okay? And they said, yes, as long as she gets her medication, she'll be perfectly fine, live a long and happy, healthy life. But she has to have this medication because she can't get any of the nutrients out of her proteins, carbs, and fats. Are hard to absorb the nutrients from. So I said, could this be what's wrong with her sister? Because her sister's like weak and frail, and nobody's been able to figure it out. And they said, oh, probably not. This is a very, very rare genetic condition. And I said, well, would it have come up in the blood tests from all of these specialists, what they found it? And they said, no, they would have never find it in blood tests. It only is found one time in your life when you're born. You get a prick on your heel, and they do a full DNA genetic screening to look if you have certain genetic markers for like precursors for disease. That happens once in your life, and then blood tests after that don't detect it. And I said, well, if this is a new disease, and her daughter was, my other daughter was born almost 2 years ago, then is it possible that she has it and it wasn't discovered? And they said, no, it's so rare. I said, will you please test her? And they did. They did the genetic screening on Ava, and it turns out that's what was wrong with her. She had a biotinidase deficiency, and it would have never been discovered if Olivia wasn't born. So it was God's plan to make sure Olivia was born so that Ava would be discovered and she could get the medication that she needed. So, anyways, I think it's a pretty good ghost story.